All right, here we go. This video is how to convert your Weber natural gas grill to propane. Gonna have a few tools you're gonna need and a little bit of time, a little bit of care. These are some of the tools you're gonna be wanting to have. Set of vice grips, got a 7mm socket, also 11mm. The 11mm is going to be used to get the manifold off of the cook box. Your 7mm, that's going to be what's going to be used for getting the orifices or the nozzles. These are the extras, the new ones. Get those off of the old manifold and replace them. You're going to want a number 2 and a number 3 Phillips, 3/4 ratchet, and a 5/8 ratchet, also a crescent wrench. Now on the 5/8, I highly recommend it be thin. Some of these are thicker than others. You're going to want it thin in order to fit into the tight spot where it's going to go. You're also going to need some pipe dope. Different ones of these, you can buy them at hardware stores or Amazon. This here works great. It's called a pipe thread sealant. You're also going to want your micro drill bit set. All right, looks kind of like this. You can get these guys on Amazon for 12, 15 bucks. And then it comes with a whole set of teeny tiny drill bits. That's what you're going to be using to drill out the appropriate size hole in your new orifices, your new nozzles, because we are going to be removing the orifices from your natural gas grill way up inside, which have a larger opening, and you're going to convert it to propane with a much smaller opening on that orifice. Okay, next is I'm going to show you what parts you'll need to take apart in order to get to the manifold. Knobs can pull straight off. You're going to need your smaller Phillips for this screw and this screw. Inside, of course, we have to remove our grill grates. Set that on the floor. We got our flavorizer bars. So we call them heat shields. We'll pull those off. Okay, now we've got our burners right there in good shape. You'll notice these move back and forth. That's the way it's supposed to be. You want there to be some movement in there. Now, being that this grill is a couple years old, here's a pro tip. Do not try to loosen that bolt that's underneath the burner or this one. It will most likely break and you will not be able to repair that. Just leave it. Don't touch it. The way we're going to get at this is I'm going to lean down. You got bolt head here, bolt head here. That's the 11mm. Then we're going to come underneath here and remove this screw here that's holding up the control panel, and this one over here. These two that I mentioned, and then this whole thing will lift straight up, maybe an inch, half an inch will come up and off. And then from there, you'll go at these two larger screws, and then directly above it, inside there, is the other end of the nut for the 11mm. Once you remove those, everything comes out. Another pro tip, before you do all that, you want to go ahead and loosen the gas line right here with your crescent wrench. It's nice to have the whole piece sturdy and on there very tight so that you can break this loose with your crescent wrench, because that's going to have to come off in order to get this thing apart. The other wrenches that I was talking about is in order to take off your, sorry about the noise, the natural gas hose. You're going to be getting this whole thing apart right through here. So that those wrenches have to come into this skinny space here. I already broke mine free, but this is going to end up coming off. And attaching onto here is going to go the new hose and regulator, the one you can get on Amazon. All right. Okay, now that we've gotten this panel off, you can carefully let it hang there. And then, like I mentioned, these bolts here, this side and this side, are going to have to come off. This nut and this nut, and directly on the inside. Hold those with either 11mm socket or your crescent wrench. One thing to note, this is an air vent here. You want to have that open. So if it's full of gunk or cobwebs or grease or whatnot, you can always take a small wire brush, it a little bit, and then blow on it so that that vent is open. All right. Okay, so this is the manifold. This is what we're taking off. And right inside here, inside these burner tubes, is the orifice, the nozzle that we will be replacing on this 2-burner model. Alrighty guys, screws and bolts are all off. This I have loosened previously, like I said, and now this manifold will slide right out very carefully. That's it. This is our manifold. And right here on the end are the orifices that we're changing, and you'll notice that opening is quite large, quite larger than the way it needs to be for propane. Natural gas has a large opening, propane has a very tight opening. All right, so I've got the nozzles removed, and now we're going to get our little handheld drill device and our drill bit. Now you guys, this drill bit is tiny. There's no number on it because there's no way they could stamp the size on it. But this thing is tiny. If you're wanting to know how to compare it, get yourself a small everyday paper clip. Not the jumbo clip, the small clip. Also grab yourself, if you want, a number 7 pencil lead. Those are both very similar, right, in diameter for this drill bit that we're going to use. All 3 of these are just about the same size. They should all do the trick just fine. So once you've got your little drill bit, you've got your new nozzles, go ahead and grab those. And we're going to open up that teeny tiny hole just a little bit. This is where your vice grip comes into play. You're gonna vice grip that down. All right, got it in the vice grip. You can see the other orifice for the natural gas, how much larger that hole is. Hopefully you can see it. It's a lot bigger. So now, all you're gonna do, take your handheld drill, set it right on the top, and then just go at it slowly and gently, twisting. Sorry guys about the camera. Twisting, keeping it straight up and down. It's gonna take you probably 4 or 5 minutes, maybe less. Once that punctures through, just keep spinning it a few more times, just for good measure. Make sure there's no rough edges. Then you will be done. You will end up with an orifice like this, where your little drill bit fits straight through. There we go. Same with your little everyday small paper clip. That is also going to fit through fairly snug, fairly tight. Right there. Boom. That's the size. And then installation is just the reverse. Make sure you get your tube sealant, which is this. Slather some all along the threads. Careful not to get it down inside there, but all along the threads generously. Then go back to your manifold and go ahead and install it using, again, that 7mm socket. And then just put everything back together like you took it apart. You got it.